And a very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to a new show here on Hardcore Sports Network and Stream Punk Entertainment, and this is called This Week of Flyers Hockey. We switched over from the Phillies to now talking all things orange and black. I'm your host James Scorza with you, and joining me with me as always is my group of companions, Austin Hammel and Joey Marks, like we always do. Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to, obviously, a lot of positivity with the orange and black, but first and foremost, how are you guys on this very important Monday of a start of a new week and also a new week of Flyers hockey?
Yeah, it's a big week in Flyers hockey. It was a big week last week in Flyers hockey. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm trying to bottle my enthusiasm. I don't want to jump off too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to get to. Austin, how you been, buddy? Good to see you, man.
I'm feeling great, coming off of a full Minnesota sweep yesterday with Philadelphia getting the best of the Timberwolves, the Wild, and the Vikings. I'm looking forward to Seattle tonight for Philadelphia.
Yeah, it should we should definitely run it back more than anything like that. So the Flyers come into tonight winning over the last couple of weeks or so, winning majority of the games. They had a little bit of a hiccup on Thursday night against Winnipeg, but overall the homestand continues here tonight as they take on the Seattle Kraken. So we always do a weekly recap. If you haven't seen our show on This Week in Phillies Baseball, we talk about the recap of the Phillies action, but now we segue into the orange and black here today. So, Joey, I'll ask you the first important question here. You look at this Flyers team as the last couple weeks or so, they have shown that they have continued to show a lot of impressive stuff with Rick Tocchet on the helm, but overall, what stood out to you this week with the Phillies success? I'm not the Flyers success, excuse me, that the Flyers have had in this last couple weeks or so, and it's been pretty amazing to think about how they've been playing the last few weeks.
Well, let's get the deck real clear real quickly. The Flyers faced in the beginning of this season the Stanley Cup, two-time Stanley Cup champions, not once but twice.
Mm-hmm.
And so that in of itself, let alone having Winnipeg as one of the best teams that one of the teams that had the best record last season. You had out of the first 5 games, 3 out of the 5 games against like really ultra competitive, over our head kind of teams, and the Fly guys hung with them. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why they hung with them for the penalty kill
Mm-hmm.
because they took penalties. And James, me and you talked to JJ over the summer,
Yep.
and he told us one thing. He said, I'm not asking for this team to be like top 10, top 5 in penalty kill
Right.
or power plays. But if you guys can be mid tier in both, you're going to see much improvement. I could tell you right now from what I've seen in the first 5 games, if they can sustain some of the penalty kill that they've done, it bodes well for this team, especially having been battle tested against some of the best teams in the league. So yeah, I mean, I'm very optimistic about the way that the direction, the way this team is going. There's still a lot to improve on, and it's still a young season. But yeah, that's the part that I was most impressed with is the Flyers PK.
Yeah, Austin, same question to you. What stood out to you this week with this Flyers team? The last couple weeks.
Yeah, the two things that stood out to me, the first one Joe already touched on, the increased consistency in your penalty kill has been very good to see, and sort of echoing what JJ said over the summer with you guys. Even if they're just slightly better than they were last year on both the power play and the penalty kill, this is a better team.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes all it takes. Like our special teams last year was atrocious.
Yeah.
We were bleeding to try and just keep ourselves from bleeding, and it got really rough as the season waned on. But you're seeing a lot more. I guess you could say more, you're more solid in your formation on the penalty kill. You're taking opportunities where you see them on the power play. Like this team is playing differently already from what we saw over the past couple of years with Tortorella leading it, now having Rick Tocchet. This team is tapping into the aggression that they have a little bit. They're attacking the puck when they have to, taking the body when necessary. and their puck movement's really solid. You know, like what was it? I think it was the second goal that Couturier got against Florida was insane ice vision by Trevor Zegras, who's one of the guys I'm going to bring up in my second point here. Trevor Zegras has been, even though the stats don't really show it, he already leads the team in assists. Just from that Couturier goal, ice vision is incredible. And I feel like the change of scenery for him is going to be big. I was telling you guys before the show today, I was talking with my wife earlier, and I said, the effort that Zegras has put in is going to start showing a lot more on the stat sheet. You just have to give him the time to keep getting that work in. Same thing with Christian Dvorak. He's had so many solid opportunities in front of the net, and one of them, he just wasn't able to elevate the puck. And if that's the biggest concern that you have, once you start elevating that puck, that lamp is going to get lit a lot more. And his hustle, even from the guys that we've seen it from before, Noah Cates, Nick Seeler, even some strong work from Nick Delorier in the game against Minnesota. Like, these guys are putting in the effort that is needed to help this team see some success. And like Joe said, get it going 1-1 against the Stanley Cup champions is incredible to start off your year.
I agree.
And the other player that I wanted to bring up that is a big bright spot for me is Vladar, our goaltender. The kid's been incredible. I mean, again, it's still a young season, but what I'm seeing from him so far is very promising. You know, you love to be able to see another kid step up into a consistent position of need for the Philadelphia Flyers in the goaltending position, and to be able to put in solid work between the pipes every night. These are things that you want to see for a team that's starting to, I guess you could say, take that next step in their rebuild process. It's exactly what you want to see. You want to see a goaltender that can play pipe to pipe. You want defense that can sort of keep things away from the front of him as often as possible. And then you want to be able to see that team transition into offense really well. And we've seen all three of those facets so far this year. And then tacking on the special teams play that we've seen already. This team has the potential to look like you were saying, even if you're just a middle of the pack team, whatever you can do to just increase your standing from where you were last year, because last year, personal opinion, abysmal.
Right.
So if you can just take that one step forward, that's going to put the entire mentality on a different track.
Yeah, absolutely. And my dad, Joe Scorza, chimes in and says, I agree with you. It's basically what your point was saying, Austin. Said that they appear in better positions to make plays, and their defense seems overall better overall, and they're playing faster overall, too. And that's the point I was going to be coming at, too, here, because you guys make very good points here, especially with Joey with the penalty or the power kill that they used to call it for the Flyers, and also the standout performances that the Flyers have had this week. I got to say right now, the one thing that's been really impressive with this team is that they're like young, and also they are like I think they're starting to get the edge of like what they were around a couple years ago when John Tortorella helped the team get to where they were. But now, like, since Rick Tocchet is going to I think he's going to try to move that needle probably. The thing about it too, we haven't seen a good hockey team like this in quite some time, and sometimes it kind of it's bittersweet a little bit because it kind of reminds of me like back when Peter Laviolette had that fast-paced offense and defense, like back and forth, like helter-skelter. So it's like, I mean, they're in like these type of games too. I mean, that's the thing that makes it even more exciting is that they have a lot of good chances here. I like to see. I mean, Zegras has really been like you even brought up, Austin. Like, he's been a real jubilation to this team, kind of like the Harrison Bader of the Phillies. But the same thing, but at the same time too, though, Zegras has become a real positive for this Flyers team. And also, I mean, but we'll talk about Matvei Michkov later because that will be the big cause for concern. Because I would like to hear your guys' opinion about what his struggles have been like as a second-year player in the NHL. But the thing that I was really impressed about here today is that goaltender situation. After the last handful of years that we had that goaltender situation struggles, obviously. I mean, we thought Carter Hart was going to be that goaltender, but unfortunately, off the field, off the ice issues occurred. Urson's a good number two. I was a little bit skeptical with the Flyers, what they're going to do with Vladar, but I think I say right now, he's been a jubilation here. And I got to say, more than anything, I think if it comes down to it so far, I think Vladar is actually playing a lot better now. I think it's probably obvious the next couple games are going to show that he might be the number one right next to Sam Urson. I think Urson will drop down to the second string goaltender if that's the case too.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
mean, just what you saw from the game against Winnipeg last week, Urson looked like he was being abused a bit by the Winnipeg offense.
Yeah,
I mean, there were even a couple of times in the Florida game where Vladar slid across to make a save going post to post and then just couldn't get back. Like
right.
you're gonna see that kind of thing every once in a while throughout the season, and it's the adjustments that these kids can make to be able to. For Vladar, more about when you slide across, don't fully commit your body to it. So that way, if you need to, you can push yourself back the other way and go and make that save on the other end. Because, man, he's athletically, that kid is a freak athlete from what I've seen so far.
Guy's
So
amazing.
if he can get that button down, he could potentially be our guy. Like
Yeah.
he has all the intangibles to be able to do it. But
Yeah.
I agree with Mike there. The penalties are going to be an issue, especially in the third period. But that's just how it is with every game. If you can play a clean third period and you're only down one, you put yourself in a better position to be able to tie and potentially win the game.
Right.
So if you can just start playing a bit cleaner, especially in the later ends of the game where, the fatigue does start to wear in sometimes, you're going to put yourself in a better spot in every single game that you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, were you gonna say something?
The key thing, I think, the word of the day, the word of the season for the Flyers is going to be opportunities and what they do with those opportunities. There's going to be a lot of young guns, a lot of names that we might see that are new, and understand something. The rebuild isn't complete. This is the still the foundations of it, but this isn't complete by any means. But the opportunities that these players are given, like Owen Tippett, a guy like Nolan Cates, Trent Forrester, Bobby Brink, like these guys are going to make a name for themselves because they know that the other draft picks, the other kids are going to come along and they want a spot in this franchise for the long haul. And the only way to do it is to make the best out of the situations that you have. For Villard, I would say I want to put this guy as the number one goaltender. I do. I'm just hesitant to do so right now. I agree with Austin. He's got really good pipe to pipe speed. He's got good, pad speed and everything. So there's a potential for him to be that number one. I got to see more to before I crown him. Because for me, I felt like I jumped off the boat a little too early, too prematurely last season when the Fly Guys got off to the good start. Now, look, they're off to a pretty good start now. The difference is how can it be sustainable night in and night out? And, 3 games this coming week, we're going to see how that really kind of, pans out in the long haul. Are we going to see Erison again get shelled against another team? Are we going to see Villard show that he can stand up and his GAA go down to a 2? Because look, if you get a goaltender that has a starting GAA of 3 point something, for 20 games or 15 games, that's your number one.
Right.
That's your guy you need. 85 to 90% save percentage. That's the guy you need. Now, whether his win-loss record reflects anything other than a above 500 record, you have those other things. You know that he's doing everything he has to do in that blue area.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sticks out to me the most with Vladar is I think it's it's a little bit too early to say he's the number one. I mean, obviously, if it's after 20 or 30 games and he's given up like little to little goals, and also, like you said, Joe, when you brought up in your point of view, I mean, yeah, that's going to be the thing that's going to be exactly what my dad's saying here is that exactly what Taka's going to be looking at and seeing about the goaltender situation is that, like, which one stands out to be the true number one. And for me, I mean, the one thing that's going to be the real positive coming out of this too is that hopefully somehow in some way we find Matvey Michkov's game a little bit, because that's been a kind of a concern a little bit the last couple games, obviously. And obviously it's a new coach, so I'm guessing he's I guess he's still trying to figure out what fits and what doesn't fit. But Joe, I'll ask you this question here. Should we be concerned about Matvey Michkov the last couple games or so? Because they haven't been the best games for him as of lately. I think it's like a mixture of a sophomore slump or something like that. But overall, like I said, should we be concerned about Michkov early on in the season the way he's been struggling?
Well, look, the reports are that he's put on some weight, and he's put.
Right.
Now, look, that being said, when you're a hockey player, you can put on weight and trim it down really quickly, because you can go blue line to blue line 50 to 60 times in a practice and cut some weight. But this is the thing that is a little concerning for me, is that the coach isn't showing the confidence.
Right.
And not saying he has to force feed Michkov into the game, but there has to be a point where we get a clear vision of like what Tockett's vision is for Michkov in this season. I'm not concerned right now. I'm concerned that I haven't seen more, because I know that this kid's a talent. It's a matter of getting his sea legs under him, so to speak, and hopefully he starts to do that. And we'll see tonight against the Kraken, but my point, I hope, is that you can't expect what you saw rookie season, because there's a lot more mouths to feed, and there's a lot more people that are looking to be hungry on this team. I think that was the difference between Tortorella and Tocchet. Torts wanted to just, almost force feed Michkov down our throat, even if it wasn't always working. And I feel like Tocchet's perspective is, I'm going to ride the guys that are doing well in the game. I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to deal with the momentum of the game and make my coaching decisions from there. He played Bobby Brink's line in the one Winnipeg game, like about 20 minutes within the last two periods. And he did it because Bobby Brink and that line were getting penetration.
Right.
And so Tocchet saw it like, well, I have to put Michkov out there. No, I'm going to put the line out there. I'm going to put the players out there. I'm going to give the opportunities to the players that want to seize those opportunities. If Michkov doesn't want to seize those opportunities, his sophomore season is going to be a very rough one here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing too is that I guess the other thing that surprises me the most with Michkov is that I feel like it's probably more like, I guess it's more like I'm trying to figure out here, because I haven't seen this in a while with a player that's starting to struggle this much early on in his season. Maybe it's probably, my dad brings up a good point here. He says something about the system being a part of it, so I'm guessing that's a big part of it too. But also, Mike Green says this is an excuse by the Flyers committing 5 penalties in the first game, and I think Michkov had a little bit of ice time. And what's your thought about that too in the process? But Austin, I'll ask you the same question I asked Joey here. Should we be concerned about Michkov's style of play early on in the season?
I think it's just he's just having a bit of a slow start this year. A lot of guys tend to do that, especially some of your better scoring guys. Some of them do tend to have a bit of a slump. You can tell like there's maybe like a half a step that they're missing that they need to find going further into the year. Thank goodness it's an 82 game season, because if it were any less than that, I would start freaking out over Michkov's performances so far. But also, Mike said in the first game, Flyers committed a fistful of penalties, so there weren't many offensive opportunities for Michkov in that game specifically.
Right.
I feel like having him on the lower line is going to teach him more fundamental aggressive hockey, I guess you could say, because of the fact that he is a goal scorer. The thought process for Tocchet, I'm thinking, is he's more used to playing a finesse game. I want some grit to come into his repertoire as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's trying to push more like don't just be the guy that can make the move and score the goal. Be the guy that can make the move, may miss the net, but then can literally come across the other side of the ice and blow somebody up.
Yeah.
Because
I'm reminded of Sammy Kapanen back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Sammy Kapanen started in the third line and worked his way up to the first line.
Right.
And the reason why they started in the third line first, because he wasn't like that high of a talent coming up from the AHL. But number two, the idea that he was a smaller, more grittier kind of guy. And he worked his way up the lines because of the work ethic he put in the third line and in the second line.
Yeah. And also with the effort that he put forward, he was proving that he could be a plug and play guy on any line on that roster.
Right.
Which gave him a better opportunity, which saw him climb up to being a first line guy. I feel like if Michkov gets that, learns how to play the puck a little bit better on the defensive end, learns where he can close out and things like that. And then honestly, watching him on the power play, and I believe it was the Winnipeg game, he was sitting high slot most of the time, directly in front of Jamie Drysdale. When in that kind of a situation, you want him to rotate from the slot, come down the slot to the front of the net, and then work his way out to a corner as the puck rotates around.
Right.
He's just camping there at the top of the slot, waiting for that shot. I get it. You want to be able to score in that position on the power play. They had a guy standing right next to you the entire time, Matt, that you have to move.
Yeah,
you have to. Especially the power play nowadays is a rotational game. The more that you can bring your guys rotating around the whole offensive end of the ice, you're going to have somebody that slips up in their coverage, give you a shooting lane. You're going to be able to put that puck in the back of the net. If Michkov follows that rotation, he would have found himself at the top of the faceoff circle in the OV spot, probably ripping an absolute slapper high glove side. Like he has those opportunities. I feel like it's more, he's still trying to understand the NHL game a bit more because there's a lot more nuances to the game that even, I'm still seeing a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize they did that kind of thing. Especially because a lot of the forwards, the defensemen will always stay up top if you play an umbrella. The forwards are the ones that rotate all the time. So I always thought it was just all five guys are just going in a circle. No, I'm wrong. The defenseman stays top mid. Everyone else moves around the defenseman.
Wow.
Well, when you have an umbrella, you basically have the two top defensemen at the blue line with the three rotating in almost a triangle formation.
Right.
Then when you have more of a box in one, you have the center defenseman in the center of the blue line and a box that kind of rotates from both the outer points of the posts, either post, and the outer points of the crease. Now, with Michkov, a coach of mine when I played hockey used to say, there's one or two ways that you can play hockey. You can play it where the puck finds you, which if you're not a shooter or a scorer, that's not always a good thing because it means it's hitting you somewhere where it's not going to feel great. Or you find the puck. And sometimes as you're rotating, you become more open. To compare it to a different sport, with basketball, when someone hits a pick, that shooter becomes wide open. So when that pick is set and that shooter becomes wide open, his scoring opportunity goes from maybe 10% to 40%. When you are rotating as forwards in NHL and you're consistently moving, you're setting these picks, these screens that if you're not the one that gets open to increase your shot chance of scoring, you're increasing the odds that your defenseman, when they rip a slap shot, you are going to be in the way, whether it's your body, your skate, or your stick, to deflect that puck. And once that puck is deflected, that goalie's got no idea where it's going.
Right.
Yeah. And even more so to give you another analogy, it's almost like running crossing patterns in football.
Sure, yeah.
Two guys coming to meet at a central point with defenders trailing them, you end up running the risk of, either the defenders colliding, and then it's just dealer's choice on where you want to go.
Right.
Or one of them picks one guy, get that guy that's crossing that had that defender get picked, gets an extra step and a half, and that's all they need. So
yeah,
it really
I love the one there's a play, you guys can look it up on YouTube. It's back when the Legion of Doom line was with the orange and black. And it's a play that they ran quite often. It was Mikkel Renberg and John Leclerc would set up in front of the goaltender in what they called the office. But you would have Mikkel Renberg take the puck in and sweep around the back of the goal, and either the defender would have to drop off or the defender would get hit by John Leclerc. That being said, that distraction, that hit in front of the goaltender blinds him, where Mikkel Renberg would either pass it to the point for a slap shot or would have given it his own little wrister to the top shelf. Because at that point, the goalie is down. He's down on his knee because he doesn't know if John Leclerc's got the puck. He just knows he's got two of his own defensemen and John Leclerc blocking his line of sight.
Wow. I mean, that's a good, I mean, you guys are making very good points here about this too. I mean, as a hockey fan, it's good to know, like, talking about this kind of stuff and also like, be intrigued by it too.
The sport of hockey is a very delicate dance. You just have to be able to keep an eye on the steps.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on the steps, and that's the thing with Michkov too. That's exactly like where I was going at too. I think it was with Michkov. I think that's the most important thing is that he has to. I mean, I think the other thing too. What's that?
Yeah, Michkov just has to stick to it.
Yeah,
the more he shows that he is learning and he's improving, the more opportunity he's going to see, the more chances he'll get to put a puck in the net, the better a season he's going to have. Give him time. Like I said, it's 82 games, man. We got plenty of time for this kid to either figure it out or not. Unfortunately, I want him to figure it out. Every Flyers fan in the city of Philadelphia wants him to figure it out.
Right.
If he doesn't, shit, man. We have Trevor Zegras. He's been putting in the work so far. Couturier's back after being in hockey purgatory thanks to John Tortorella last year. Konechny's starting to find his stride again. Tyson Forrester's been Tyson Forrester. Owen Tippett's putting in good work. We have guys that can pick up for that lack of production if Michkov does have a bad year. But let him put in the work. Give him time. Let him just keep his nose at it, and he'll either he'll find himself out on the other end of it better off for it, or he won't. And like I said, I hope he finds himself better off for it. If not, maybe send him down and give some other kid a shot,
Yeah, maybe like bring up like Bump or Bunk or something like that. Maybe bring a couple of those players up to see what they can bring. So I'll ask you one more question here about this too. So I had to like say right now about this Flyers team, that's been the real positive as of lately is that they continue to shoot the puck when it matters the most. I mean, last year, the one thing that was kind of concerning was last year is that they forgot how to like control that kind of narrative and all that too. But I think what Rick Tocchet is doing now is have a little bit of a more of a modest game. I think that's the one thing that the Flyers have to do more than anything. I mean, the one thing I really like to see here too is that they continue to shoot the puck in every way necessary. And yeah, sure, sometimes it's like high and wide, but overall, it's not like how it was before. I mean, I have to say right now, the way Rick Tocchet has been showing what he's been doing as of lately. I think the fans obviously wanted Rick Tocchet all along, but at the same time too, it's kind of amazing. It's pretty amazing to think that like the Flyers are, not the fans, but more like the players rather, are like actually like not helping talk. I guess the thing I wanted to ask you guys is that like I guess this was the guy all along that the Flyers desperately needed, especially when they get back to relevancy, and they're in a good spot right now. That's the thing.
Well, I see this team, especially in the first couple games, and even JJ brought this up in the telecasts,
Mm-hmm.
is that they haven't been getting a lot of shots on goal. But
Hmm.
just because you're not getting a lot of shots on goal doesn't mean that you're not making them count. See,
Right.
you could have 30 shots on goal, but if 15 of them are in the same area where you get stopped every time, you're just they're just shots. They're just empty stats. And like I hate to, trivialize or, shrink the minimalize the stats of a shot on goal, but here's the thing. If you're putting up 15 shots on goal, 20 shots on goal, and you score 2 goals,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't always look great, but it looks better than 50 shots on goal and 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get 40, 50 shots. Wow, great. Thank you. You had the high volume of shots, but you only scored once.
Right.
And you said it last year, James. The ugly goals are fine. They're nice. They're cute, but
Yeah.
you need to be smart with if you're going to have a shot, take it where it's most effective.
Right.
And I think, you brought up about how the fans wanted Rick Tocchet all along, and I think if you look at sometimes the players exemplify the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Taka was always a grit and grind, boards kind of tough, gritty player. But when he had his shots, he made them count.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes me feel like this team is taking on the attitude of Rick Tocchet as a player
Mm-hmm.
and kind of translating that into the NHL game that is today.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I guess also I'll ask you the same question too. I guess like with the level of shots on goal that they have as of lately. I mean, I guess it's the one thing that's been a real positive as of lately, going back to last year. But I think the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys too is that um, the level of shots that they have, even though they're like sometimes they miss the target sometimes, but overall they're getting good shots overall. That's I guess the most important key here going into tonight's game. I mean that's going to be the most important thing coming into this game here tonight to see what they'll look like with some staggering. I think the other thing too is that I'm not sure what Seattle's record is like especially with shots on goal. I mean, Winnipeg. I'll tell you the reason why they lost track with Winnipeg. In that game on Thursday night was because Winnipeg's a better team, and there was like two players on the puck, and I mean Winnipeg's probably one of the best teams that's still in hockey. I think the reason why being is because they won that President's Trophy last year too. But the way they handled it with the Panthers in the first game of the season, and also only gave up 1 goal. I mean that's the one thing that's been a real positive as always. I mean these opportunities that the Flyers have. I mean, they're still trying to find their footing, but overall, they're in majority of the games they've been in has been majority of those games, and I got to say right now, it's been really positive. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just really good to see just to see them in majority of these games.
Yeah, and like your dad said, I would rather have a lower shot on goal total and have all of those shots be quality shots
Mm-hmm.
than have 47 shots on net, but you're like, yeah, maybe like 8 or 9 of them were really quality shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would rather finish a game being outshot by 12, but
Mm-hmm.
the 14 shots that I put on net, 3 of them went in, and I could have possibly scored at least 2 more if it didn't get, go off the post or hit bar and look like it was going to cross the line, but wound up taking a weird bounce. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would rather take those all day because of the fact that quality shots, a goaltender is going to be more worried about. Because
Right.
the fact they're seeing you come up and they're like, okay, this is where they're gonna go. And then you put a quality attempt away from that, it's going to make them have to think. Just like with being a pitcher in baseball, honestly. If a guy comes up to the plate knowing that first pitch is always fastball, they're going to be ready for it every single time. So you know what you do? They come up the next time expecting that first pitch fastball, break them something off. Just
Right.
give them something to make them think twice about their approach coming in every single time.
Yeah.
If you can do that against opposing goaltending, you're going to put yourself in a better position to get pucks in the net.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Joey, I think the one thing that the Flyers have had success as of lately is that, like you said before, is that the shot opportunities they get, like if they get a lot of shots, but the only difference is they only score one goal. That's the one thing that's been the one was a constant in many years of hockey, that they get so many shots, but they won't get the puck. Like, I mean, I just the way they look right now, I think it's been one thing that's been, I gotta say, that's really exciting to see, is that majority of the games that they're in is that they've been fun to watch too at the same time too.
Yeah. And I think like that's where they're competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the word that we're all looking for. And I think that's the word that all Flyers fans want from this team. They want competitive. A competitive team. Look, with Winnipeg, I agree with you. They are much more talented team.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you're outclassed. But you also have to look at the other two games with Florida that you had with the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Mm-hmm.
You not only played competitive, but you won one of those games. And then the Minnesota Wild the other night, that's not a slouch team either. You know,
Right.
they have Tarasenko, who me and you have talked about,
Oh yeah.
has just been on a downslide, but like he's sneaky good. And he
Yeah.
had that goal in that game. And I'll just be honest, that Minnesota Wild team is going to make waves in the West.
Yeah.
Now, if you add all of those things together with everything that the Flyers team has done as of late and so far, it just the stream of consciousness is the offense is going to pick up. You know, Austin brought it up earlier, is that, you know, Mitch Scott's not the only one that's going to start to get the motor going more as the season progresses along. TK is going to start getting the motor going. And when he gets it going, he goes on these tears. And then Coots has been showing back up. And again, he's off the milk carton. Trevor Zegras is going to help this team leaps and bounds, but not just because of the points scoring, but because he's able to put these talented players in the best positions possible. And so when you have 47 shots, but 5 of them were just poking at the puck in front of the goalie, and it's an easy like stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I mean, you can put them on the stat sheet as shots on goal you want, but we know for a fact that those don't always go in. The
Right.
ones where they're more skillful, they're coming from like angles that the goalie's not able to pick it up on. Sometimes those are more quality because you are able to, as a team, be able to say, okay, he didn't see me at the point. He's not picking up the puck. We need to go and attack that angle. And Austin brought up a great, analogy with it. The idea of a pitcher. When you're a pitcher and you throw fastballs 65% of the time, you got to know where to pinpoint that fastball,
Right.
and you know that hitter will not hit it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to make a mistake by, if it's supposed to be high and inside, putting it right over the middle in, because you know that guy could possibly barrel it up. If you make a mistake and you don't capitalize off those special angles in hockey, you're not going to get more goals. You're going to get these goaltenders are going to look like Dominic Hasek against you. And look,
Right.
I said this last year. There were so many goaltenders that we faced that you knew they weren't as good as the way the Flyers made them look.
Right.
But they made him look like Ed Belfour, for a crying out loud. I'm like,
It's true.
this guy's not this good. Can we pump the brakes a little?
Yeah, and I guess the other thing too is that the Flyers are now forceful this year more than they were last year too. I think that's the most important thing too here too.
They will be.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, I think so too. All right. Excuse me. So we have another new topic here called around the National Hockey League. So last year we would do this. I guess we would do this on the post game portion of our show, Joey. I think if you
Yeah.
can. So we would just do whatever we can to talk about games that are on the slate and also to keep a close eye on, especially for other teams. So we only got, let's see, we only got I guess 5 or 6 games on the NHL slate here tonight. We got the Wild taking on the Rangers. Obviously, Flyers at home taking on Seattle. Montreal taking on the Sabres. I got to tell you right now, Cole Caulfield has been unbelievable, man. I mean, he's been a real stud. I got to tell you what. So we got Winnipeg up in Calgary taking on the Flames, and then the Hurricanes close out the night to take on Vegas in Vegas. So I guess the question I'll ask you guys is that even though the Flyers, you'll be tuning into the Flyers here tonight, is there any games on this slate here tonight that that will keep you entertained, like in the intermission, or obviously you'll think of the? I mean, after the Flyers will win, the question I like to ask is that. Is there any of these games that stick out to you that we should keep a close eye on, especially?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Montreal Wild game for 2 reasons. Number
Hmm.
one, I want to see if Montreal can, try to reemerge. I mean, they've been having some good seasons, and so I want to see if that continues or they start to kind of fall back. I also want to see if the Wild can bounce back. It's like I said, they're going to be a force in the West, so it's going to be interesting to see that game.
Yeah. Also, is there a game out there that sticks out to you?
For me, it is out on the West Coast at 10 p.m. It is Carolina going out to Vegas to play the Golden Knights, two
That's a good one.
unbeaten teams in the NHL right now. You got Carolina sitting at 5-0 with no overtime losses, and Vegas sitting at 4-0 with 2 overtime losses.
Wow.
So you have two teams that are unbeaten in regulation play, facing off against each other tonight at 10 p.m. So hey, if you guys are up for it, throw back an extra cup of coffee tonight. Get yourself ready for that game out west because that's going to be a slugfest, man. Both of those teams are incredible. Mitch Marner is with the Vegas Golden Knights now. He left Toronto. I've been waiting for that to happen for him for 3 years. Like Vegas has been on fire this season. Them and Carolina both have been playing incredibly well. Goaltending's been phenomenal. Like I said, with Vegas, Mitch Marner finally found the back of the net, so now the floodgate may open for him this year. Both of those teams are just incredibly well put together, and they play the game so beautifully. And I cannot wait to see them play each other tonight.
Yeah, it should be a fun matchup. I think that's the one thing I'll be keeping a close eye on. But I was watching Montreal as a lately with Caulfield. I mean, man, he's just
Montreal
talk about clutch.
Really good.
Yeah, they've been really good, man.
They've been really good, especially after what was it 2 years ago? They were one of the worst in the NHL.
Yeah. What a
bounce back, man. Holy crap.
Yeah, they the one thing I was really surprised about too is that to see Montreal like play to the capability they have now with Caulfield and see the Blues kind of struggle a little bit too. I mean
another player for Montreal that I'm kind of glad I'm seeing that is starting to see some success again to start this season is Nick Suzuki.
Yeah.
Guy has, what is it? I think he has 7 assists so far on the year. Like the guy's been finding everybody, man.
Yeah,
he's proving 2 years after he did it that the contract that they gave him was worth it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because you think about it because like how Montreal, like you said, was like one of the worst teams in hockey, and then they were in the finals a couple years ago during that COVID shortened season, and it feels like they brought that firepower back that they have now, and also man. I mean, Caulfield, may he rest in peace. I mean, Johnny Gaudreau was he reminds me a little bit of Johnny Gaudreau a little bit. Like, just how he's been playing as of lately. But
he definitely does have some similar on ice swagger, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that's the thing too. But I'm curious to know
any Montreal Canadian player that's got swagger makes headlines.
Yeah, like Rocket Richard, Alexei Kovalev, and the list goes on and on. Zaku Koivu.
Kovalev, man.
He was good, man.
Woo! I loved watching him play, dude.
Yeah, he was a Penguin for a while. But I remember him more with Montreal than with the Penguins, though.
Yeah, you're gonna start to see a lot of the teams that you would typically see at the forefront. Washington, Pittsburgh,
Yeah, Ovechkin's
St.
chasing
Louis.
900. He's got
Yeah,
898.
I'm pretty sure the Canadians have Shane Doan's son, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
Yeah.
Jack don't. Wow, talk about like.
I freaked out so hard I messed up my camera. Oh my goodness! Because I remember watching Shane Doan play in
Yeah,
back with the Coyotes back in
Coyotes,
the day,
yeah,
during their inception. Yeah.
yeah. He's
Oh my goodness!
wow.
You're gonna do me like that. There we go.
Oh,
There we are. I'm back.
Yeah. You know what's crazy too about I would remember watch their father, kind of. I guess it was. I forget who it was. It's kind of like the Eagles have now with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Axman Sr. But it's more like I forget who it was, but I remember watching him play. I'm thinking wow, he's in the NHL now. It's kind of like, my dad could tell you
that with what was his name? Max Domi, Ty Domi's son.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
When I saw that he was in the league, I was like, wait, what? Who let him in?
Well, it's like the Kachuk brothers.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, now I know I'm getting old. When the youngsters that were seeds in their daddies before when I was still playing hockey.
Yeah.
Okay. But to kind of touch on that Minnesota Wild game, with the Flyers. I brought it up before we went on air. You want to talk about toughness of hockey players.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's the reason why my wife, my loving wife, did not want me to be a hockey player professionally. Because that dude lost teeth. And she saw that play. She's like, see, that's why. And I'm like, he's gonna get him put back in. She's like, that's not the point. I don't want to see his smile after that game. And so I could just remember the one time where not Bobby Clark,
Sean Couturier, was it?
Was it Sean Couturier?
It might have been no, actually no, it might have been Braden Coburn. It might have been Braden Coburn.
Braden Coburn. He lost his one of his two front teeth. You saw him smile. It was like a gap, mile wide in his mouth. And I'm like, my wife was like, see, that's not an attractive look. I'm like, if I'm making a couple million, I'm okay with taking a couple chicklets.
I'll tell you what, Coburn was a warrior, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I still remember. I think it was his first year in Detroit when Daniel Alfredson left Ottawa, went to Detroit.
Yeah.
One of the first games, he caught a high stick and lost 6 teeth.
Yeah.
Whistle blows dead. Here comes Alfredson, glove tucked under the arm, picking his own teeth up off of the ice, going over to the trainer, going, "Here, bud, hold these for me," scoring 2 goals in the game. And then there was the guy. Oh,
was it Dupuis? Pascal Dupuis? Took his teeth out.
No, there was that one, the one of Dupuis just pulling his own teeth out because it was kind of loose. But there was
hold that.
Yeah, there was a dude that played for the Blue Jackets. Tight game, third period. Final minute, takes a slap shot to the mouth.
Goes
to the back, gets himself stitched up in enough time to come out during overtime and score the game winner.
No offense to any athlete, but you get hit so hard that teeth fall out of your mouth and you come back 20 minutes later. I'm sorry. It takes a special kind of person. I was lucky to play minor league hockey. I was lucky enough to be a fighter and not lose teeth. I'm very fortunate. I'm pretty sure I would not have been as fortunate if I would have made it to the pros, but my wife was just like, see, that's the reason. I'm like, okay, I understand. I counted 3. My wife counted for me. 3 teeth that dude lost.
Who was that actually? Was it Kaprizov that lost it? Oh no, it was Rossi, Marco Rossi.
No, Rossi got hit with the slap shot.
Oh,
It was another guy. It was
oh no,
another
no, no! It was
defenseman.
Eriksson Ek, Joel
Yeah,
Eriksson Ek.
yeah.
Yeah.
He got hit. He lost 3 teeth. And my wife's like, how are they going to be able to find it? It's white ice and a what? I'm like, good eyes, I guess. Whatever you see blood,
No,
you
you
look
do,
around.
you do my favorite thing. You put your blade down on the ice and you just start sweeping. If you feel it hit something, it's probably a tooth.
Yeah, they are a different breed, absolutely.
Dude,
It is.
they're the only human beings that still to this day are cut from pardon my language, cut from straight fucking burlap, dude.
Yeah.
they're the
I'm
toughest
sorry, like,
competitors in the world.
when you got pitchers that are leaving the game over a blister, like I want to be clear.
Yeah,
They're leaving
yeah,
the
you're
game
right.
over a blister. This guy just took a slap shot to the face.
Ian
I lost
Laperio
three
wants to talk with you.
Yeah, and not to mention the 4 or 5 that he probably took off the legs and chest and back throughout the game too.
Rossi
and
left
the
game
250
twice.
plus and the 250 plus pound men literally sandwiching you between themselves and a piece of near damn immovable plexiglass.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
and it's
man.
all and most of it's happening going like 20-30 miles per hour on ice on literal razors on your feet.
Yeah.
Like Rossi left the game twice last night. Once he took a slap shot to the rib cage, and the other one he took one to like the hip. And I'm like, dude, you are getting banged up. You're gonna have some bruises tomorrow.
Dude,
That dude woke up
one to the hip, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. One to the hip. And like you gotta understand, you have padding there, but like the way that the padding is formed,
Yeah.
it can slip
Eesh.
right there and you feel it right on your bone. I took a puck right into my like is kind of my hip, but my butt cheek took most of the brunt. It was like a 90-mile-an-hour. It felt like somewhat like a bee stung me in the ass.
It feels like a bee sting that's being driven in by a full swing of a baseball bat.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly right.
But we're leaving the game because of a blister.
Yeah, the amount of times that I would wake up the next morning after playing hockey and look down at like my leg because I was a defensive forward, so I was putting myself in front of shots all day.
Yeah.
I would have a bruise this big on my leg, like literally the size of my entire head just on my leg. And I'm like,
my God.
Oh yeah, that's from the shot I blocked.
Well, you got to imagine, like, I thank God that like people did not that they knew that I played juniors because I'm a 17-year-old kid, and if I would have taken my shirt off, you'd see bruises everywhere. You would think my parents were beating the hell out of me. Like, no. I'm a hockey player. Sorry.
Yeah, or you're just moonlighting as a heavy bag at the gym.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you just put me in the heavy bag and like some dude just like lets him.
Oh man. Yeah. Last thing I'll say before we go here, before we move on to the next topic here. I remember there was a time, I don't know who it was, but it might have been Ian Laperio, and like I think it was that Stanley Cup final run, and he took a puck to the face, and 2 weeks later he looked like it was like no harm, no foul. I mean, the same thing with Braden Coburn in that Penguin series in 2008 too.
Well, in that final with Laperio, he got the puck to the face. They thought he had a fractured jaw or something.
Orbital bone. I think he had
orbital bone. That's right. And he was like, "Yeah, but I still want to go back in." Like, what are you nuts? Like, dude,
I remember like he was like, just put like a cage or a visor on or something, like, dude. I'm good.
I'm good.
I think he did come back in that final.
Yeah,
it's literally like, Ian, we in good conscience can't let you do this. And he goes,
yeah,
my conscience is fine. Let's go.
Yeah.
God, I loved Lappy, man. He was one of my favorites, dude.
Oh, dude, he was the best. I can always talk about Lappy, Billy Leno. I could tell you a story about that like for days, man. I could talk about that. Maybe one time we'll talk about that 2010 Flyers team at one point. Maybe because I have so many memories about that team. It's like
because that was the team that wound up bringing in Daniel Carcillo in 2011.
Yeah,
and that dude. His story alone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, with the CTE stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I mean, him and I think Andrew Shaw too. I think
Yeah, Shaw.
had bad CTE from that too. I was no, it was Brian Bickle from someone from that
Nickel too,
2010
yeah.
from that 2010 Blackhawk and the championship run that they had from 2010 to 2015. All
Yeah.
right. So before we get out of here, we got this is like something I actually brought from my old Hockey Night on Broad show called Starting Goaltender Matchup here. So tonight, Flyers are in playing against Seattle. So in goal tonight, it will be Dan Vladar again for the Flyers here tonight. As I guess we brought up here, he won his second game on Saturday night. And real quickly though, before I go any further here, I'd like to see the one thing I was really it was a very moving thing that the Flyers are doing this year, that speaking of the goaltenders, that every win that they win this year, that the Flyers, like every time when they win, they have a replica Bernie Perron mask that they share out to the players. And I think it's pretty cool to see that too after the passing of the great late Bernie Perron. I mean, and that was the one thing I was going to ask you guys about that earlier, because that's just really moving to think, especially like after Bernie Perron passing away and seeing that like his replica mask like still as a tribute to the Flyers is one of those things that I really like to see. I mean, that's one of the things that's pretty touching to think about too, man. Especially how he passed away and all that too. But real quickly though, what's your immediate thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, I love that they did that. I mean, here's the honest truth: is like we say this about Philly fans, we say this about our sports teams, but like Flyers Nation is genuinely a family. Like
Hmm.
when I remember when Ed Snyder passed away, it hit everybody so hard. And like
Yeah,
I think Bernie Perron was, even though he was just a goaltender, just a player, he really wasn't just a goaltender or just a player. He was an icon in this city. And I think like if you put him up next to Ed Snyder as far as how loved they were in this city, he would go toe to toe. And I mean, once again, I think Flyers knocked it out of the ballpark when it came down to paying this tribute, and also having the tribute behind the goal that with the number one. I think that also makes a big difference in the fact that Bernie will always be remembered, and he'll be the goaltender that we're always holding every other goaltender we have in net, that he's the bar.
yeah, absolutely. And like we always say here, hang on, give me one sec. Only the Lord could say more than Bernie. That's the most important thing too, because you think about it too. I didn't get a chance to talk about this with you guys, because obviously we didn't have a show last week, and we were just segueing into the other portion of the Phillies into the Flyers here. The way Bernie Perron, the way he was to every Flyers fan was like Harry Kellis to the Phillies, to Merrill Reese to the Eagles, Sixers. You could think about I guess you can think about Daryl. I'm Moses Malone or Dikembe Mutombo or even like Allen Iverson for that most important part. And the thing I loved about what I love the most about Bernie Perron is that he was one of the best. I mean, it's just an like my dad brings up a good point here. Like it's always been an iconic here in Philadelphia that Bernie was, and that doing and especially how moving that they are, that every single win this year they give a rep. They celebrate him with the replica mask. I mean, especially the night Vladar won the game for the Flyers on opening night, and then seeing him with that replica mask, it gives you chills. I mean, it gave me a lot. It actually gave me chills, thinking like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that kind of stuff here. And I mean, it's one of those things that even that he's no longer with us, but he would also be happy to know that the Flyers are relevant again, to see how far they have become, and now they're getting back to hopefully relevancy. Hopefully this year will be the year they finally break the camel's back and go back to the postseason. And I know for sure it will be one of those. It's going to be a season that like the Flyers are going to pay tribute to Bernie Perron a lot. And I got to say right now, it's pretty cool to see that his memory will live on forever.
Yeah, and it like just like you guys were saying, I think it's really cool that that's the thing that they're giving to their locker room player of the game every night. because it more than anything, not only is it the homage to Bernie Perrant, but it's the logo that you're wearing on the front is also the legacy that you carry of not just Bernie Perrant, but everyone that's ever had a chance to wear it. And to be able to perform at the level that you're performing at so far this season and be able to hopefully carry that momentum the rest of the way is the ultimate way to pay tribute to all of those guys. And
Absolutely.
being able to not only that, but to represent not only the team, but the city. Those are the two biggest things, is you're representing your team and you're also representing the city. And these guys are doing that. Couturier with with the unfortunate retirement of Brandon Graham is now the longest tenured Philadelphia athlete, and he understands the responsibility that comes with not only just that, but also being named a captain. There's a couple of big responsibilities that come with both of those things, and I feel like if anyone would be able to shoulder and carry that mantle, it's Sean Couturier for sure.
Right.
And to be able to lead this team, a lot of impressionable young guys, a lot of very experienced guys on this team. Couturier, I feel like, is that perfect, like, I guess you could call it a gray area between the two ends of that spectrum for this team. And it's everything this year, I feel like, is becoming a perfect storm for the next potentially 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, because like you think about the Flyers, like they want to get back to the postseason. Obviously, they're moving one step ahead this year. I mean, last year they took a step back. Obviously, what happened with John Tortorella, but I think now they'll move one step further this year. I think they'll make one step closer to what they need to be as a postseason team, and hopefully next year they make their journey to make the postseason, and then the next year they make the jump to go probably even further than they did in the previous years and all that too. So before we go any further here, like I said, Dan Vladar is in goal tonight for the Flyers. His record this season, 2-1 this year, and he has a record and his goals against average of 1.65. And he'll be opposed by Joey Decord, and he's 3-0 this year. So I can't believe he has that pretty good. My dad said in the comments that this might be a good threat here for the Flyers here tonight. That's going to be it might be a battle between the Flyers and the Kraken here tonight. So
we don't get a break. We don't get a break.
Yeah, right. We don't get a break, right? We can never catch a break. And also, his record is 3-0-1 this year, and has a 2.38 goals against average. So I'll ask you the question here, like I always asked here for the Phillies. So I always say we always talk about like a look ahead to the Phillies and a look ahead to the Flyers. Joey and Austin, how do you think the Flyers would do this week, especially with the circumstances especially with Seattle coming in here tonight? They go to Ottawa on Thursday, and then I think they play the Islanders on a matinee on Saturday, and they play Pittsburgh before we come back and see you guys again on that Tuesday night of next week. But overall, how do you think the Flyers would do this week during these next 3 games?
Well, I'm going to give them 2-1. I think they're going to beat the Kraken. I think the Kraken are really good, but that GAA for that goalie, despite him being undefeated, it still tells me he lets up goals. And as long as we can get enough of those quality shots that we talked about earlier in the show on him, I think that, measuring up with our goaltender is better than their goaltender in my mind. I think I don't know who the Kraken have played, but I know our schedule has been tough as hell. So I'm not going to be overly critical about a record of our goaltender, but I will say this. I think they will beat the Kraken. I think we'll beat the Ottawa Senators, or as I like to say, Claude Giroux's second team. But then I think we might lose to the Isles. Islanders are still, they're still good.
They're still rebuilding, though. I think that's the thing. They got Matthew Schaefer. I like that's been the talk of the town they've been talking about.
The Islanders always give us a difficult time.
Yeah,
and they're kind of like, this is what we talk about when we talk
they're
about
like the Giants.
Well, yeah, exactly. In like football with our division, like when you play like the Rangers, the Devils, the Islanders, like Pittsburgh, it's always a dogfight. Like, it's
It
just
is.
always a dogfight. And so I'm going to give us a loss in that game, and I have us going 2-1 in the coming week.
Okay, cool. Austin, same question to you. How do you think the Flyers will do this week with
Yeah,
those mindset of games?
I think I'm right there with you, Joe. I have them going 2-1. I have them beating the Islanders but losing to Ottawa.
Okay.
Ottawa has beaten Seattle. Beat Seattle in, I believe it was a shootout. Let me double check. Yeah, they beat Seattle in a shootout this past Thursday. So I feel like they definitely are a strong team. You know, it just is what it is. This is the way that they've built themselves over the past couple of seasons, have made them into a pretty solid organization, top to bottom. I have us beating Seattle tonight. I think the final will be like a 3-2, 3-1 situation going in favor of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa, I think, is going to probably be an overtime or shootout loss, and then I have us clearing the Islanders in regulation.
Gotcha.
Because the Islanders over the past 5 years have just slowly been dismantling themselves again.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because like they had such a solid team. Leo Komarov, Brock Nelson, Anders Lee,
Barzell too, Matthew Barzell.
Yeah, Matty Barzell. Like they've put together a really solid team, and it just something about it just doesn't seem to work every time. And by like year 3 or 4, they're like, well, all right then, and just trade it in at the store and get other goods to take back instead. Like,
yeah,
it's the weirdest thing with this. It's this weird like Ouroboros of the Islanders dichotomy. There, it's like they're just consistently eating their own tail.
Yes,
right. That's true. Yeah. For me, I think that Seattle might be a tall task for the Flyers tonight, but I think if they played the way they did with Minnesota and the Florida Panthers, I think they could win that one here tonight. For me, I also say I'm not crazy about Ottawa. I mean, even though they got good talent on that team, like Stotla and Giroux, like you mentioned, like second team, like Claude Giroux, second team with Ottawa. I mean, they got the Kachuk, they got one of the Kachuk brothers. But I don't think they're that. I don't think they're that gonna be. I don't know. I mean, I every time when we go to Ottawa, it always feels like we can never beat them in Ottawa. But when they come here, they always play good here. But I think the Flyers will win that one. But I mean, I think it'll be either like it would be either that if it's if the Flyers win that one, I think it'll be either if they win or lose one of them. I say they lose to Ottawa if that's the case, and they probably beat the Islanders because, like you said, Austin, like the Islanders are one team that they're just like rebuilding again for some reason, and it feels like ever since I've been a kid, like they've been rebuilding for God knows a period of reason. So yeah, so
the organization, if for a better metaphor, they shoot themselves in the foot, get the foot amputated, get a prosthetic put on, and then just shoot that one. They're like, oh, I shot this, I got to get a new foot, and then do it again.
or better one is having a TV and watching it and enjoying it for 3 years and taking it back to the store with the receipt and say, okay, I'm done with this one. Can I get another one? A new one? Can I get a new one?
Sir, it's a television, not a library book.
Yeah. It's like, this is a 3-year-old receipt. What are you returning it for? Because it's old. I want the newer one. Well, that's not how this works.
Yeah, that's
like a cell phone, my guy.
Yeah, right. It's like I mean, think about it. The Islanders were definitely living in the past. I mean, they were at Nassau Coliseum for 50 years, like before. I mean, that's the thing.
To that place, Nassau Coliseum was awesome, though.
Yeah, it was. I always like Nassau too. All right, that's gonna do it for us here today for this edition of This Week at Flyers Hockey. I want to thank Austin and Joey once again joining me like they always do. Austin, where can people see you next, my friend?
This upcoming Saturday on the Hardcore Play and Rewind YouTube channel for the Hardcore Play podcast. We have not decided on the game that we're going to be talking about, but we're going through and doing a bunch of spooky and like horror games for the month of October. We talked Silent Hill, we've talked Prey. I feel like I want to do like I guess you could call it like a Resident Evil knockoff game and do like Dino Crisis or something.
Ooh.
Because we've already talked Resident Evil. I talk about that game. I could talk about that game until I'm blue in the face because that's just how I am and one of the games that I was raised on. But Dino Crisis was one of those games, like, I dabbled in it a bit because my cousin had it, and I was like, dude, this is just Resident Evil with dinosaurs. This shit's crazy. And I got hooked on it. And then they made a second one, and it was awful. And I don't talk about it. But,
wow.
We act like that didn't happen. We act like that.
We just sweep that, under the rug. Yeah, that gets swept under the rug, just like Devil May Cry 2, Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 10, just everything that you just kind of want to keep away that's unsightly for people. You just sweep it right under this rug here. Capcom, Square, you guys do that. But aside from that, right here in the bottom of my camera here, twitch.tv/Hambo26, I did finish that Pokemon challenge last week, boys. I beat it in 5 attempts, which was pretty sick. So I'm debating on if I want to do that with Pokemon Platinum or if I'm going to try that challenge on a bit of a harder version of the same game, because people make what are called ROM hacks, where they'll take the a digitized version of the game and then edit a bunch of stuff with it. It's called Pokemon Renegade Platinum. Every single gym leader has a full 6 Pokemon set, and all of the builds are completely competitive viable. So I ran into one that's like, this thing has an ability where if it has burn or poison on it, it becomes physically stronger. Guess what it's holding? An item that puts a status on it to make it physically stronger. I'm like, oh no. Like, there's like 7 different documents that I have to have open for this game to understand what the hell is happening.
Oh my God.
And if you thought me trying to just for literally one stream sitting around half of the time doing damage calculation, to have me sit here and be like, hold on, guys. Okay, there's the trainer document. Okay, I'm here. Oh my God, what is this?
See, and now this is why I am a sports gamer. I am the dumb gamer.
as did I.
Pass a puck, shoot a puck, move the puck. Pass the ball, shoot the ball, run with the ball. Throw the ball, run the ball, defend the ball. Like, I am just that dumb of a guy as far as a gamer is concerned.
Yep.
I have to read a 7-page paper to figure out how to play a game. I'm out.
I also was one of those kids that grew up playing StarCraft on PC a lot.
Oh, wow.
They're playing like Age of Empires and those kinds of games. Like, I understand the strategy behind how some of these games work. But there's just something about taking a Pokemon game and being like, hey, man, you played this one a ton. You love it. What if I changed everything about it so that way you have no idea what you're going into, but your brain automatically defaults to, oh, yeah, this is easy.
Oh, my God.
It's so silly. I got through the first gym and I was like, he literally wiped my team 3 times before I finally beat him. And it was all because I just kept missing damage ranges. Which just means it literally is like, here are 10 possible ranges. AI rolls a D10. Okay, you're getting the fourth option going from bottom to top, which is you're getting the 4th lowest damage roll possible for that move. Like, that's literally how the entire time I was sitting there with a buddy of mine. He goes, bro, every single one of these is a range. I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world outside of playing D&D. I roll really well there. And also, hey, man, here's a roll. No, just don't let me do it. Like, I even had the thing where it's like, because you can get like different colored Pokemon. They're called shinies.
Yeah.
I have that boosted to a point where in reality, your chances are 1 in 512.
Mm-hmm.
The normal rate is 1 in 4,096. I have not seen a single shiny the entire time yet. Buddy of mine's like, I'm going to fire it up and play. First Pokemon he encounters, shiny.
Dude needs to go buy a Powerball ticket.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what he needs to do.
Wow, that's crazy.
My streams are just full of nonsense, and I implore you, stop by. Even if you don't drop a follow, just come in one night and just see what happens. It's again, pardon my language, it's the dumbest shit in the world. Some of the things that happen to me.
Oh man, Joey, where can people see you next, bud?
Well, I'm not playing one of those games. That's but anyhow, you will see me again on Fly Like an Eagle, and you will see me this week on Patterson at Sports Show. I am planning on getting Scott Churchin to come on. I still have
Oh,
to confirm that. I want to get Scott's feedback on the upcoming Giants game and the past Giants game and what like his feeling is as a Giants fan about this upcoming Giants face off. I also want to get perspective from Scott about the collapse of the Phillies from an
hmm.
outsider perspective.
Hmm.
Because I think me, you, and Austin, we all kind of seen this from the inside.
Same
I
old
want to
song and dance. Like,
Right. I want to see it from the outside. I want to see if someone goes, well, you're still a threat because of X, Y, and Z. Well, we see you guys going away, fading
yeah,
away into the darkness.
yeah.
So, also, I talked to Scott. We are going to be dropping soon another episode of Philly Fame Legends. So wait for that. So please follow Stream Punk Entertainment PA and Hardcore Sports Network. And like it says where below my face, follow me on X at Joe Wolf 112680. I'll be sure to share out those videos. And yeah, until the next show.
Yeah, absolutely. So like we always say before we go here, so if you're a new member, a full member, or just a member already, hit that like and subscribe button on Hardcore Sports Network and also Stream Punk Entertainment. So, until then, that's going to wrap it up here today for this edition of This Week at Flyers Hockey. I want to thank Austin. I want to thank Joey, and now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone that made it work here. For myself, for Joey, and for everyone else here, I'm James Scorza saying thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let's go Flyers, and we'll catch you guys next time.